If we roll back the clock, say about 10 years now, you probably would have found that most car valetters and detailers would address their tyres up using the good old-fashioned paintbrush. However, in 2020, when unfortunately we were all locked in our homes, 1,000,001 detailers came crawling out of the woodwork telling me that I am in the wrong for dressing my tyres up using one of these. Now, the funny thing is, if we roll forwards to 2024, guess what everybody's telling you to use on their tyres? Yep, a good old-fashioned brush. Now the thing is, brushes have advanced over the years, so instead of using a paintbrush, we're actually going to be taking a look at this detailing tool, which is literally taking the UK and Europe by storm. Now this is a dedicated tyre dressing brush, and in this video today, we're going to find out whether it's actually good or not. Right, I can tell you're looking forward to this one. So this is the dedicated tyre brush. I, believe it or not, paid just £2 for this. Now you can get them on Amazon, eBay, AliExpress, Temu. They're literally doing the rounds everywhere at the moment, and they are trending on TikTok. Trust me, using one of these will get you a lot of views. I've seen it for myself. But the annoying thing about these brushes is they're always going to have the same comments and feedback from whoever gets them. Some people love them, some people hate them. Now the reason that people are just not really keen on them is because a regular thing I'm seeing with the reviews is the bristles keep falling out, and that could just genuinely be down to the type of dressing that you're using, whether you've got a water-based dressing or you've got a solvent-based dressing. I think it's the solvent-based dressings that are quite heavy, and they literally pull out some of these bristles because it just starts attacking the glue that's holding them in. So that could be one of the main contributing factors. Another comment people are saying is you've got to really load it up with a lot of product if you want to get a nice even finish around the tyre. So I am going to be trying out the brush on these tyres on this Ford Focus. Now this is the previous car throttle Ford Focus that me and Matt purchased for our other channel, Epic Car Show. Do have to excuse the bird poo, there is an awful lot of it, and I thought this would be good for me to do some product testing. So I am actually testing a few different products out at a later date, hence the reason we have clean wheels and we have dirty bodywork, but it will get a full clean up on the channel very soon. I've just pulled it back in from outside, so you can see I've given them a real deep clean the other day. We used Yum Undress and then we used a wheel cleaner as well here, so we've literally got rid of any nasty bits on the tyres, which means that we've got a perfectly decontaminated surface to work on. So hopefully we should have no excuses. We're going to give this a go. Hopefully we're going to have some good results. Now, because everybody moans about solvent-based dressings because they say they're quite thick and it doesn't always work, I thought I'd jump straight in with the big guns and I will use a solvent-based dressing myself, because if it was water-based dressing, it would just glide over. I can already tell you that straight away. So we're going to be using this from Infinity Wax. It's their new and improved tyre gel. It's an SiO2 based product as well, so it's going to give you good durability. And I just want to see how this is going to perform. So the very last thing that you should really do to a car is dress the tyres. Don't go doing it beforehand. The reason being is because you are going to get some of that gel, some of that residue all over your hands. It's unavoidable. Now this has been designed with this little handle to reduce that happening. But the problem is, because you've constantly got a bottle, you're picking it up, you're putting it down, you're picking it up again. Before you know it, you've gone literally all over the vehicle. You've contaminated it everywhere with some of the dressing, and then you've got to go over it again and re-wipe it. So for me, that's why I always do it at the very end. Another interesting thing is this is how we used to do it back in the old days. So we had our solvent dressings, which are really thick gels, they had that funny smell to them. We used to pour some in here, walk around wherever we went with our brush, dab it in, slap it on, and then be done with it. And this is what hand car washes do to this day. The problem is with those hand car washes, they have to get through a lot of cars very quickly. So if they want to do a nice job, as long as they've slapped it on willy-nilly, that's going to be good enough. But then as soon as the car drives off, you get loads of sling, it will flick up all over the bodywork, it makes the wheels dirtier a lot quicker than not having any dressing on at all. So for me, a lot of my clients actually say, Dave, we just don't really like tyre dressing. So this is a reason why a lot of people did get annoyed about whenever I did a video where I used to just put it onto the tyres, but I never went really aggressive with it, and I always finished it up with a soft sponge afterwards, because then it takes off all that bulk of that residue and it reduces it from slinging about all over the place. So I kind of feel like I need a good combination between a decent tyre dressing, this applicator, and something to perhaps dip it in, because last thing I really want to be doing is picking this up, putting it down, and then going back over it again. So now I'm actually just going to roll straight in with this. Oh, that's quite nice. But I can already see, so look, I've only covered that with a small blob to start with. Now I'm going to have to do it again. So I'm picking it up, I'm putting it down. Now I'm getting drips everywhere, and I just feel like I just need to put it in this container like this, dip it in, and then start brushing it over. I just feel like it'll make my life a lot easier. Perhaps something like an old mug might be a good idea. So if you've got an old cup or something, quite a big wide one like your typical Sports Direct one, you can then dip it in and then just chuck it straight on. There's going to be less mess. As long as you're careful and you don't spill it everywhere, you should be fine. Well, it feels okay actually. It feels pretty decent to use on the tyres. And I think I'm going to come unstuck here now though, because as you get to the bottom, I can't reach underneath the tyres, whereas if I had my trusty paintbrush, I could at least get a little bit further down, but doesn't really matter anyway, because all I normally do is just roll the car backwards or forwards just to make sure that we've got a nice even coverage. There you go, there's something I've just seen happen then. I've just put some on the brush, and as I've gone to apply it, it's literally just dropped off onto the floor. So you really do have to be very careful. If you're working in someone's garage and they've got nice tiles and you drop this on the floor, boy, it's going to be like an ice rink. Okay, let's give it another go. This is the first time I've actually used this dressing before. It's just lovely. One thing I have noticed about it, and I noticed it on the other wheel, is you do get a nice even finish, because there's literally thousands of bristles that have just been so compact together. And you really do get, oh, it does look really nice actually, to be fair. I was half expecting me to have to go over it again with an applicator sponge or an old rag just to even it out, but it's literally got in every single little groove, and I really like that. I think from a business perspective, if you're somebody who's trying to whiz around a load of cars quickly, I'm not going to say this is the fastest method, because you cannot beat just sticking a paintbrush in a load of it and just going over it, but then wiping afterwards. But nevertheless, I feel that if you are going to be spending a little bit of extra time, as you can see, in all that time that I've just been waffling then, I've managed to get pretty much an entire tyre done, apart from just this little bit at the bottom. And the more of this product I'm actually loading into the brush, the better the results, because now it's fully primed. Oh, it looks fantastic, doesn't it? That's pretty good. One thing you are going to have to regularly do is wash this out, because it is solvent based, like I've said before. It could be quite strong and it could start trying to separate that glue. But honestly, look at this. It's well and truly in there now. And because it's quite a thick texture as well, I mean, look at that. There is enough on there that I could probably go around again. Actually, one thing I haven't tried is the trims, which normally, all right, you do this on a clean car, by the way. let's see what happens, eh? Is it going to give me a nice accurate finish right to the end? Well, do you know what? That's easier than using a sponge for this type of thing. Oh, it's going to look brand new. I really should wash this car, but like I said, we're doing some bird poo testing on it this week, so that's the next thing on my to-do list. It's just a very slow, precise way of doing things. Not something that somebody in the trade is going to do if they've got loads of cars to get through, but it's good enough, you know? Nice. And I've made less of a mess using this over an applicator sponge. I don't think I've got any on the paintwork, so that's a good sign. So I've just given it a quick test on this Ford Focus. To be honest with you, I quite liked it, and I think for £2 you can't really go wrong. Now, it doesn't matter whether you pay £2 or whether you go for maybe something like £5, which is the going average depending on where you get it from. I still think this is a valuable tool, and it's actually very effective on those tyres and the trim, so I've got no complaints there. However, this is my first impression. Obviously, over time, I'm going to be using this a lot more, and what I will do is come back to this video and I will edit the description if there is any significant changes over time. Now, I'm not going to be using this every single day because I'm just not hammering through loads of cars anymore. So what I will do is just keep you up to date, and if there's any changes, I will put it either in the community posts, or I will come back to the description and leave some little notes, or even perhaps do it in the comments. So if you come back to this video maybe in a year's time, you might see a different picture, and I will try and keep everybody updated on all the other social media platforms. Now, if you're somebody who's quite skeptical about car detailing, or you really do not believe the hype about things like snow foam, then I think it's going to be a really good idea that you go check out this video right here.